Good morning, guys. Summer here, coming to you from Greensboro Downtown Yoga for today's slow flow class. For us here at Greensboro Downtown Yoga, slow flow is exactly how it sounds. It's an opportunity to slow down, to take a little bit longer in our movements and our poses, but we're still going to connect breath to movement, and that's a big part of the flow aspect of it. But we do get that chance to really slow down a lot, so it's going to be a nice kind of relaxing place to be today. And I hope you find that opportunity to really relax into this. As always, please do things that feel good on your body. Those of you who practiced with me know I have a bad left ankle, and there are times and moments that things don't necessarily look on my body how they're supposed to look. And that's just the nature of my ankle. And I imagine that you might have similarities in your body, and be okay with that, okay? This week, I've been focusing all on this quote or this line from a song that I was inspired by that said, "Be fearless and young." And I thought, how can I bring that idea into this practice where I'm asking us to slow down, where I want us to just kind of be, And I really started to think about this idea of how we can become free from our fears. There's things that scare and worry all of us. Those anxieties that we deal with on a day in and day out basis. The moments in life that cause us fear. And what can we do to be free from them? How can we use our mindset to escape and go away from those? So that's what we're going to work through today in this idea of being fearless is actually finding ways to be free from our fear. Today, we're going to spend the majority of the practice actually on the mat, lying down. So it's going to be a little bit different than the rest of this week where I've been talking about the importance of standing. And today I wanted to take us to the mat lying. If you have available to you, find something like a strap. If you have a puppy and you can steal their dog leash, grab that, or a towel. Just something that you can use for some assisted stretches that we're going to do, and it'll be really nice if you have that strap. Okay? I want you to go ahead and find a lying position on your mat. We're going to lie down and just allow your body to relax into the mat. Notice how it feels right now in this space. Observe where your shoulders are on the ground. Where do your hips touch the mat? How do your feet naturally fall? Are your hands open so that you're receiving? Or are they down to be closed? Find what feels nice to you. With your eyes shut, just notice your body. Notice your natural breath pattern. The rise and fall of your chest and the movement. We can allow that just calm rise and fall of our chest and our tummy. Place one hand on our chest and one hand on our belly as we continue to focus on our breath. How can you observe and alter the rise and lower of your chest? As we shift towards a diaphragmatic breathing pattern, our belly is what expands as we inhale. It comes back together as we exhale. By doing this, we should have little to no movement in our chest and our hands. In times of stress, in times of fear, in times of anxieties, we allow our breath to become really shallow subconsciously. And you feel your chest lifting and lowering. And next thing we know, our shoulders are lifting and lowering. And we're building tension into our neck. The more we can do to avoid that, the less reactive our body becomes to stressors. And the better we feel overall. As we're here, I want you to think about something right now, or maybe in your natural, normal, everyday life, that causes you fears and anxieties. You know, maybe it's right now the news and all the talk of COVID that we hear constantly. Maybe that's making us fearful. Maybe it's fear for a loved one. Today as we move, I want us to use our breath as a way to calm that fear. We can't necessarily get it to go away in a short period of time, but by using our breath, we can figure out ways to make it easier on us. Or bring your hands by your side. Allow your back to arch, and you find this space between the floor and your back. Notice that right now I'm sliding my hand under. Use your belly muscles and press that down to the floor. Do that again. Just arch your back and press it down to the mat. Continue that. I'm noticing that my Bluetooth disconnected. And that lift and lower. By getting just that small shift of our pelvis, we're allowing heat to generate into the middle of our body. Inhale as we find that lift. Exhale as we press down towards the mat. I think this is such a great time to keep our eyes shut. To be internalizing this movement. Let's do one more. And you're going to articulate that movement as you then tuck your tailbone and roll up one vertebrae at a time until you're in a bridge position. Exhale as you roll back down. Your back is like a string of pearls that one vertebrae at a time is articulating. And then it's like this string of pearls lifting up. Each vertebrae articulates the ground at an individual moment in time. Today we're going to be working working on movement into our hips and our mid-back as a way to allow those areas that become really tight in our seated postures to open up. As you're doing this, feel your glutes engage. Do one more time. Press your feet into the floor. Feel the lift and the articulation down. Lift your arms so they are in line with your shoulders above your head. You're going to make circles, so we're going to reach our fingers to the floor behind us. Try to touch them. Come all the way down to your hips. And then inhale, lift. Exhale, circle. You're making this snow angel movement. So your palms are facing up as you start. Come in towards your hips and then face together. We're trying to get movement into the joint of the shoulders by using the floor as a sensory spot. So you might find that your arms have a hard time reaching the floor behind us. And that's really common for those of us who spend a lot of time hunched over computers or behind tablets or phones. Let's go the opposite direction. You might find, especially right now, you might have converted your home to an office space and you're doing things at a desk that just does not feel comfortable for you or isn't ergonomically set up. You might find that your shoulders, your chest, your neck gets so much tighter. One more time, circle your arms as you inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down by your sides, palms face up. Let your head look side to side. It's like you're saying no, but you're getting this movement and you're using the floor as a sensory spot. It's so important that we find movement in our neck. It's our cervical spine. Now, I really kind of took that for granted for so long. And then in November, you keep doing this, I'm going to sit up for a second. And in November, I tore a ligament right here in my neck between C4 and C5. It popped. And I went to the doctor and I could not turn my head more than 4 degrees. So if you imagine my head is straight, I could literally go right here. And it's taken me until now to get, they say I'm about 80% normal, quote unquote, our functional range. And I feel that so often. Our neck is one of those areas that you're like, oh yeah, we should move it, but we forget about it. Bring your head forward. Do this little kind of flow. Lift your hips up as you inhale. Exhale, lower your hips. Inhale, your arms lift up. Exhale as they circle to the side. Inhale, lift. Lower your hands to your hips. Circle the opposite way. Keep your arms lifted. Look over your right shoulder. Come to center. Look over your left shoulder. Come to center with your hands lifted. Inhale, lift your hips. Feel the articulation through the spine as you lower down. Exhale. Inhale, your arms down. Inhale as they lift. Exhale as they circle the opposite way. Come to center, look over one shoulder. As I said, flow is just this breath to movement moment. So as you inhale, find that deep belly expansion. Exhale as it comes together. Inhale, your arms reach, lengthen behind you. Exhale as they sweep to your hips. Inhale to the sky. Exhale down and around. Look over your right shoulder. Come back to center, look over your left shoulder. Let's do that one more time at your breathing pattern. Lift your hips high. Feel the articulation down. Reach your arms. These snow angels remind me of being a kid, right? It's that chance to just be playful in movement. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Look over. Back to center. Bring your hands down to the floor. Legs lift to 90 degrees. Bring your arms actually up to the ground. Sorry. You're going to extend your right arm and left leg. So right arm, left leg goes away from each other. Inhale, come back in. Exhale, opposite arm and leg. Come back to center. Press your lower back down to the mat as you do this. It becomes kind of funny when we're doing this for the first time. We all of a sudden want to let one arm go, and it's kind of like your brain is like, what am I doing? It is a little tricky. This is a brain moment. I want you to really keep this arm up to the sky, even though it really wants to move. It's just the opposite arm and leg moving. Exhale as you bring the leg out and in. This is called a dead bug. It's a modified version of the dead bug. Normally we have legs straight up. I want us right here. And it is a great way to generate heat into our body and get movement into our hip joints. Last one. Hug your knees into your chest. Pull in. Give yourself this little ball position. Inhale. Exhale, you're going to reach your arms and legs away from you. Inhale, hug in. This comes a little bit from the Pilates world. Inhale, now take it to only one leg extends. Inhale. Exhale. Why do I want you to do that? Well, with one leg bent in, we're able to still get that movement into our hip joint. Notice I just took out the lift in my head and neck. That is a perfect option, especially for like me. It still hurts my neck to lift up and stay in that position. Let's do one more. Hug your knees into your chest. Give a little rock from side to side. Having one more place in this flow that we were doing. We're going to add those two movements in. So bring your feet to the ground. Lift your hips up. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Sweep your arms back down by your side. Exhale. You might notice that all of a sudden your shoulders are feeling more free. That's what I want. Lift your legs. Dead bug, so right arm, left leg, extend. And out. Extend. And out. Hug your knees in. Both legs extend out. Now the lower your legs go, the more intense it becomes into your abdominals. One more time. So your legs can go right here. Hug your knees into your chest. Little rock. We're going to do that 3 more times as a way to get heat into our body. Lower our feet. Lift our hips. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reach your arms. Exhale, as they circle around. Remind yourself that your breath right now, exhale, circle, is a way for you to let go of those fears. Inhale, lift your leg, dead bug, right arm, left leg. Maybe your fears of messing up, right? There's so many of us who hold fear of failure as a reason to not do things. Inhale, exhale. And in movement practices, that becomes really evident a lot of times, where the stories that we tell ourselves are the things we can and can't do. And right now, I just want you to breathe into this. Inhale. Exhale. Allow yourself the freedom of your shoulders, the freedom of your breath to move through the space. If you mess this up, oh well, you get another opportunity to do it. Both legs extend. Now remember, you could be having the lift of your head, neck, and chest. I'm choosing not to. Hug it. Last chance, last time. Bring your feet to the ground. Lift your hips up. Say, I am free. Exhale down. Inhale your arms back. From all the fears that I place on myself, I am free from the moments of fear and anxieties. I am free to be me in this moment, in this movement, in this place, in this time. I am me. Rock from side to side. If you've had the chance to listen to our movement mantra project on the Soham mantra, you'll understand what that I am is all about. It's probably my favorite mantra because it's such a way for us to release our body. Let's roll over to our right side and just slowly bring ourselves up to seated and actually onto all fours. Our hands are right under our shoulders. We're going to look into our belly as we cat. Exhale, arching up to the sky. We've been doing a lot to kind of warm up through the center of our body. See how we can get this articulation into our mid back. As you look into your belly and look up towards the sky. It's these moments of articulation that allow our mid-back to become free. We're going to make circles. So lift up, inhale. You're going to go over to one side, and it's just going to be this fluid circular motion. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Maybe you want it to go back into your hips where you sink in. Let's go the other direction. But it's a way to get movement. Find that space right between our rib cage to move freely. Make sure you breathe. Find your neutral spine. Pull your belly in. So you've got this long line from head to toe. Walk your hands just a little bit more forward. You're going to press back onto your hips. Like you're doing a child's pose, but our knees are together. And then we're going to come forward and press forward into your wrist like you're doing a plank. So you're going back into your hips forward into your wrist. And you might find that that puts a little bit of pressure into your wrist joint. What we're actually trying to do is get movement into this joint of that wrist right there in a way that is a little bit different than what we're used to. But if it does cause too much pressure, bring your hands a little closer in. If you walk your hands in, it's not quite as intense because you notice I'm no longer in a full plank. I'm more hands and knees. Exhale. Inhale. Last one right here. Come back to center. Walk your hands under your shoulders again. Cat in, inhale. Exhale, lift your chest. Little flow right here. Inhale, round. Exhale, press. Circle. So inhale as we start. Go to the right. Lengthen back. Come all the way forward into your wrist. Come back to center. Go the other direction. Circle forward. Lean back into your hips. Come to center. Inhale as we sit our weight back to our heels. Exhale as we shift forward. One more time. Sit back. Exhale forward. Find our neutral spine. Lift our left arm to the sky. Rotate your wrist right here. Notice my head is looking towards my hand, getting that neck cervical movement. Take your arm, thread through as you exhale. Reach your right arm forward. Lengthen your left arm. And I want you to feel as if someone is pulling, notice I'm moving my fingers, is pulling these fingers and is rotating your chest even more open. Stay right there. You should feel kind of right through the mid-back, kind of that shoulder area, like you are having this long stretch. Bring your hand back under your shoulder, lift up all fours. Inhale. Exhale, come down. We're going to try the other side. Inhale, lift your arm high, circle your wrist. Now you'll probably notice how stiff I am on this side, right? How I'm kind of having to push into my hips. This is the side where I hurt my neck. And it's very interesting because what they've really seen is that my thoracic spine, my mid-back, is causing a lot of stiffness from my neck. Exhale, thread through. So it's becoming really challenging for me to get rotation, which is not good because we need rotation in life. But I'm working on it. And that's all we can do, is work on those things that are our challenges. Come back, or walk your hand under your shoulder, come back to center, big deep inhale. Exhale, right here under your hip. Cat, cow, inhale, cat. Exhale, push into the mat. Really find the articulation through the back. As you get that deep arch, make a circle. Inhale, forward. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, go the other direction. Exhale. Little modified child's pose. We call it rocking. So rock back. Inhale, forward. Come over those wrists. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come neutral spine. Lift your right arm off the ground. Inhale. Exhale, it's going to thread through but not touch. So you're trying to reach the floor or your hip behind you. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, all fours, other side. Lift your arm. Exhale, it reaches back towards your hip. Again, press in as you find that reach. Inhale, up tall. Exhale, all fours. Lift your right arm and left leg. Find this long reach as you lift your belly. One of the most common things I see on this is people let go. It's kind of like they end up doing a cow while doing this bird dog position. You want to lift up, pull in with your abdominal muscles so that you have a neutral spine. You will have curves in your back because that's how our back is made. But when we are lifted, it's strong and braced. Exhale down. Inhale, other side, lifts up. Another tendency is to sink into our stand, or into that opposite hip. Find the length from head to toe. And release. Doing that same flow again. Inhale, adding on to it. Exhale. Cow. Inhale, make your circles. Exhale. Go the other direction. Be fluid in these circles. Be free to find the way that movement feels right to you. Rocking back. Rocking forward. Use your breath to move. Inhale, neutral. Lift your exhale, hold that place. Inhale, your right arm lifts, step. Exhale, thread through, reach towards the hip. Inhale, rise. Exhale, come down. Lift up opposite side. Press the shoulder back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Spinal balance, bird dog. Lift the opposite arm and leg. Notice this is just like the dead bug that we were doing on the floor, right? It's that same opposite arm and leg reaching. Come down. Lengthen long. And come in. Okay, we're going to do that one more time and then we are done with this move. So I want you to make it your best opportunity. Round your spine in. Cat. Exhale, press away. Look up, find that engagement. Make your circles. I'm going to allow you to find your breath, to be free to move at a different pace than I am. Round and sit back for rocking. Notice how your wrists might feel at this point. They're feeling tight, maybe you don't come all the way over them. Lift the right arm up. Notice I just took my knees a little bit wider. That gives me a little bit more open and space to thread. Inhale. So you're going to notice here in a moment when we go into a new place why I had you do this. Exhale. Bird dog. Lengthen and extend. Flex the back foot so it's like you're still standing on the ground. Exhale. Pull your tummy muscles in as tight as possible. Lift up out of your standing leg. Exhale. Wonderful job with that flow, guys. Walk your hands forward, lift your hips, and find downward dog. Now, we are not spending a great amount of time today doing downward dog, so don't worry. I also have good news for you. We're not going to do a single warrior today. Yay! Sometimes I think it feels so nice just not do those, right? No warriors today. Although you are a warrior, no warrior poses. Let's lift our hips, stay in that downward dog. One knee at a time bends. Feel your heel reach to the ground. Feel your palms press into the mat as we've been doing throughout class. Little by little, just walk your feet in towards your hands. Hang over for a moment. Allow yourself to sway side to side. If it feels good, maybe you interlace your arms or not. I like to keep mine hanging. It gives me that freedom of movement. Come back to center. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. As you do, your arms lift to the sky. Get this great big inhale. Exhale your hands to heart center. So a few standing up. Inhale, arms circle. Exhale your hands to heart center. Notice this is the same thing we did on the floor, right? Those snow angel type movements. Can you find that same reach of movements right here? Inhale. One more time. Lift up. Exhale, hands to heart center. I want you to step to one edge of your mat. Just because I want us to use the mat as a guide point. You're going to place, let's all take your left foot and place your big toe right on the edge of your mat. And then you'll take your opposite foot, place your heel right up against that toe. And the middle toe of your front foot is splitting that line in the mat. And you're going to teeter-totter a little bit. I've been talking all week about being fearless, meaning balance, right? And this is a place that you're going to find it. So let's pull our tummy muscles in tight, all that core work and engagement that we've been doing. Lift up, reach your arms forward. Squeeze your glutes and press all 10 toes into the ground. Now take a chance, shut your eyes. Yeah, you might notice that all of a sudden you're wobbling all over the place, right? Good. That's what I want. Actually, I don't. I would like us to eventually be able to do this with our eyes shut and no wobbling, but it's a moment to see where you are. Beautiful. Step your foot to the opposite side. So now we find that other foot back. So our right foot back, our left foot forward. The toe is splitting, or the middle toe is splitting the mat, and the big toe is on the edge. Reach your arms forward. So I think this is such a fascinating balance to me because we have 2 feet on the ground, right? We're not lifting a leg, and yet we're balance challenging. Pull your shoulders down, your abs in tight. It's called a tandem balance. And in a movement mantra episode, we're going to talk about balance. You're going to hear me talk a little bit more about this. Shut those eyes. Find your fearless moment with eyes shut and arms reaching. Notice, well, hopefully you don't notice because your eyes are shut, but if you've sneaked your eyes open, you see I fall a lot more on this side. This is my left ankle. This is my bad side. Beautiful. Step your feet wide so they're about the distance of the mat. Big, deep inhale up. Exhale, you're going to sit low. It's this wide chair position. Lift up high. Exhale, sit low. So instead of chair, which we normally do in yoga, being very narrow, today I want us to be wide, where you're pushing your knees out over the center of your foot. It's going to give us a little bit more hinge at our hip and allow us to get just a little bit deeper into that hip joint, which is what I'm trying to do. Big breath. Exhale. Okay, we're going to do a flow. So inhale. Exhale, sit. Inhale, step to the right side of your mat. Bring the right foot behind, left leg, left foot front. Find your tandem balance. Shut your eyes. Inhale, open your eyes. Step back out, sink into your chair. Inhale, lift. Let's go to the other side. So make sure that you bring your right foot back and your left foot forward. I have a tendency when doing this that I want to just always do my good side. Shut your eyes, reach your arms forward. Open your eyes, step your feet out wide. Big inhale, no movement right here. Exhale, you're going to rotate, look over your back shoulder. I want you to get this kind of hug position. So I'm going to show you kind of more from the side. Here's where if I was at the back, here's where you would be seen. Notice my back heel lifts. My hand is on my hip. And I'm trying to look over my shoulder. And then inhale, come back, center. I'm going to do it facing away again. Exhale, you go to the other side. It's that same spiral, right, that we were doing on the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Mid-back rotation. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, sit low into your chair. Find that place of your knees. Each time you're going to go a little bit deeper. Exhale, sit a little lower. Inhale, let's lift up, step to the right side, right foot back. Arms come forward. Shut your eyes for one breath cycle. Inhale, step wide. Exhale, sink low. Inhale. Find freedom of this movement. Exhale, lift up high. Inhale, your left foot is behind now. Arms reach forward. One breath cycle. Inhale, now let's add that spinal rotation. So look over your back shoulder. Inhale. Feel as if you are a washcloth, that you are twisting around, and that you are moving that spine. Inhale, sit low into your chair. Lift up, one more. Exhale. Lift your arms, step to the right side, right foot behind, left foot forward. Make sure that your toes stay touching. Inhale. Lift up. Sit low. Reach high to the left side, left foot, or to the opposite side, left foot back. Shut your eyes, one breath cycle. Inhale. I'm going to add a new move into it this time. We just did that chair. Inhale. We're going to rotate over our right shoulder. Lengthen and rotate. Press. Come to center. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, your hands heart center, your feet step in towards each other. Lift your right leg up, and then you're going to open it out to the side. So you're doing this lift and lower. Lift and lower. Notice my one foot is staying planted on the ground. I'm moving my hip joint as a way to get movement and fluidity into this joint. Think about all the times I've been telling you to pull your knees into your chest, to find that movement into your hip. That's where it is right now. Let's come back to center. Other leg opens, out, and in. Now, as a way, maybe you try to find that tall lifted spine. Try do it. Rotate over. And we push that standing foot into the floor. One more. Maybe standing on one leg is something that scares you and you immediately go to a wall. This is a chance, stay right here, to be free of that fear. Give me a great big inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. We're not doing sun salutations, remember I said that. Step back to a downward dog. So immediately find your downward dog. Take your feet so they are the distance of the mat, just like we were doing a moment ago. Inhale, your right arm is going to reach and cross to your left leg. You look under your arm. You're grabbing somewhere on the leg. Maybe it's the thigh, maybe it's the calf, maybe it's the ankle. You find that spot that feels authentic to you and allows you to get that rotation. Inhale, center. Bend your knees, sit back to child's pose. Reach your arms forward. Inhale, come to all fours. Lift your knees back to downward dog. Lengthen your feet the distance of the mat. Take your opposite hand, take your left hand, cross it to your right leg. You stay right here. I'm going to adjust my shirt. It's driving me crazy. You're pulling that arm towards the leg so that you get that rotation. Come back to downward dog. Lift your heels, walk your feet up to meet your hands. Inhale, lift up all the way to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, we're going to do a little flow and then we're almost done. Lift your right leg out. So I call this over the fence. So you're coming over the fence, left leg over the fence. Come back. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, step back to downward dog, feet long and feet wide. Inhale, your left arm to your right leg. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale, bend your knees, sit back into a child's pose. Inhale, lift up, hips back. Walk your feet back to meet your hands. Inhale, roll up one vertebra at a time as your arms lift to the sky. Exhale, hands heart center over the fence with your right leg. Inhale and close. Left side open. Feel that movement through your hip joints. Lift up high. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to your downward dog. Feet wide. Right arm, left leg. Come center. Left arm, left or right. Oh my goodness, I just messed up that arm and leg. But you cross. Come to center. Now, your hands are going to walk to your feet. Okay? So you're in this wide position. You're going to bend your knees. This can be where you stay. Right? This is a beautiful spot to be. Or you're going to open your toes out to the side, and we're going to sit our weight down into this little gardener position. And just shift your weight side to side. a block or you've got a pillow or something at home that you wanted to sit on to give you that little bit of lift, it will help assist you. The most important part of this is that we're opening our chest. Lower your hands behind you, sit your hips down on the ground, and extend your legs forward. That was a nice little feeling into our hips. I hope you enjoyed that. Take your strap. This is going to be a kind of different way than you might be used to you doing some of these hamstring stretches. We're going to use the strap as an assist, which is common, but we're going to start seated and go to lying. So you're going to take your strap around your right foot. You're going to sit up super tall. You're going to pull on the strap so that your leg starts to lift off the ground. Notice I've got that space and that my leg is straight. My shoulders are down away from my ears. And then one vertebrae, I got to scooch you forward so I can stay on my mat. One vertebrae at a time, we're going to roll down. This bottom knee can come bent until my leg is straight to the sky. With my leg going that way, it has a better ability to keep our knees straight. And too often I see people right here with that knee bent instead of straight. Extend your bottom leg. Take both straps into your right hand and open your leg out to the side. Feel both shoulders on the floor. Our hips, they hold a lot of emotion. They are a place that oftentimes we get so tight and bound up that when we start to open it, we actually feel a rush of emotion. So if going into this hip movement, these hamstring stretches causes that, let yourself cry, it's okay. Come back to center. Let your leg cross. Last week we posted a movement mantra on crying and why we should just allow ourselves to do it. Now with this, we are keeping both shoulders on the ground. You're feeling this stretch on the outside of your leg. Come back to center. Grab the strap, one in each hand. Now you're going to slowly lower the leg down to the ground. As you do, you start to roll back out. Let's do the other leg. Hook that foot. Sit up tall. Exhale as we roll. Lift your leg off the floor first. Pull the foot in. Now tuck and roll down. Into the knee, in. Find that move behind your leg. So you should be getting this great hamstring stretch. Take both straps into your left hand. Open your arm and leg out to the side. Now one thing, especially on the side that you might be tighter on, you might start to notice that this hip lifts off the floor. And you notice I was doing it right there, my hand on my hip as kind of that biofeedback reminder, that kinesthetic reminder to go, hip needs to stay on ground. Have your leg back to center, cross, and let that leg fall over. And just be aware how one side is versus the other. It's not a comparison, it's not a judgment. It just is what it is. to center. Bring strength into both hands. Slowly start to lower your leg down. Roll yourself back up. Sit up tall. Guys, I hope your body is feeling really kind of open and released. You're gonna roll yourself back down to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. As you do so, allow your knees to open to the side. Instructor Baddha position with our feet touching, our knees out to the sides. Here again, letting that weight of gravity pull your knees down. I personally love this place for Shavasana. It feels fabulous to me. It might be causing you a lot of discomfort. If you want to stay here for our final Shavasana, please do. If it feels better to you to allow the knees or the legs to go straight, allow that moment. For Shavasana, which is so often discussed as one of the most challenging poses in a yoga practice, you're using these moments to completely let go. Maybe you focus on the song that's playing, or your breath. We want to stay here in this moment versus allowing our mind to wander to our to-do lists and our worries and our anxieties. To be so in our own body and our own space that we have no idea what the external noises or lights or sounds going on around us are. No, it's so tempting to want to roll up your mat right now and leave me and not finish the Shavasana. And in so many ways, I think that's our fear of missing out, our fear of wasting time, of not realizing that relaxing can sometimes be the most important thing that we need. Whether you think of this as a meditation moment, a relaxation point, just a time to be with yourself, it's so valuable. Start to bring awareness to your fingers, to your toes. Let them wiggle around and feel space. Into your wrists and your ankles, your knees and your shoulders. Like wiggle on the mat. Yeah, be fearless, be a kid, wiggle. And then allow yourself to stretch long from head to toe. Hug your knees into your chest for this final moment of calm. For that final gratitude hug that you give yourself. Roll to your right side and then make your way to a seated position. Sit up tall with your eyes closed. Finding this moment of peace, of serenity, of calmness. remembering that we are free from our fears, that our fears are not controlling us, but we use our breath to control them, that we allow this moment to be complete and subtle. Go out into the rest of this day with a renewed sense of energy, calmness, and freedom. Your great big inhale up. Wrap your arms around yourself. Give a giant hug in. Release. Until next time, I'm Summer. Thank you. I really appreciate you practicing with me today. As I've been saying at the end of these free classes, I really value each and every single one of you who takes the time to practice with us either live or on your own time. We here at Greensboro Downtown Yoga are shut down for COVID-19 like so many others, and we are providing these classes completely free to each and every one of you who feels compelled and needs to do them at this time. We also have our Movement Mantra Project, which is a free offering as well, which is just little snippets of calm or movements throughout the day. We do greatly appreciate it if you take any moment, if you feel inspired or empowered by anything that we are providing to support us in these efforts. We want to continue to provide them for free, and we want to be able to open our studio doors back up when COVID finishes. So there is a donation link in the description below. Even a $5 donation is something that will help us continue this, will help us continue to support the studio operating costs even while the studio is closed. So I appreciate anything that you do. Again, I'm Summer, and I thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, bye.